everybody, welcome back to Northernlion plays the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth plus 13 wins in a row. Lucky 13. Get ready. 3, that's not bad. 3 HP, that's not bad. Greed's Gullet, good stats, 1-3 DV, JNVN. Weird kind of hurdy-gurdy rhyming scheme. Anyway. I'm not seeing the board that well. No, we can get it. Sorry, I just got back from outside. You know, the wasteland. I've taken off my surgical mask, and I feel like I'm breathing real oxygen for, like, the first time in 90 minutes. You just gotta give it a little bit of time for it to hit the brain. But when it does, you go... It's like Neo being freed from the Matrix. Oh, so good. Okay, probably shouldn't have taken that. Let's slow our roll, do the little things right. Why was I outside today? Because I am 100 years old, I had to go to the bank. And the bank is no longer open on weekends, which I understand and I support. But, you know, they're only open on the weekdays, so I went to the bank. And then when I went to the bank, and again, this is very sensible to me, at least take precautions while still doing business in today's, you know, workaday world. They had like a security guard, basically. The security guard was like, I just gotta ask you a couple of questions first. And I was like, thank you for your service. I didn't say that. They might have taken that the wrong way. But I mean it. But she said, do you have a fever? And I said, no. And then she said, have you been outside of Canada in the last 14 days? And I said, no. Have you turned on the news recently? It's not... That sort of thing doesn't happen anymore. And then she said, have you been in contact with anyone who's been outside of Canada in the last 14 days? And I answered no, but in my head I was kind of like, you know, how would I know? You know, I have been to the grocery store in the past 14 days. There might be people there that have traveled. I didn't ask everybody that I got within 4 feet of at the grocery, but I see your point. In spirit, the answer to your question is no. I've not been in contact in close proximity with... Anyway, so I just answered no to all the important questions. I told her what she wanted to hear, which is also the truth. Went in, no problem. While we were standing 2 meters away from the next person in line to get some service, a much older gentleman came through, and he got asked the same questions. And she said, do you have a fever? And he said, I'm happy. Which she took as a positive. She took that as a yes, which, you know, I understand it's not, but I also understand that she's just trying to get her job done. And then she said, have you traveled outside of Canada within the past 14 days? And he said, oh, come on, don't be absurd, don't watch so much TV. To which she replied, you might not care about this stuff, but I still gotta do this. And he was like, yeah, okay. No, I haven't been outside again. What are you doing, dude? I'm like, I didn't know that those people existed in real life. Not people who denied science. I know those people exist in real life, not exclusively on Facebook. But I meant like people who just go around looking for an argument at all times. I thought that was just like an internet thing where people, you know, someone will post a picture of like a torta. And then on Twitter, the #1 reply will be like, it looks good, but that's not a torta. A torta is made with crusty French bread, whereas this appears to be some kind of rye bread. I can't believe you would call this a torta when it's clearly merely a sandwich. Anyway, they let him in, which I disagree with, but I also understand, you know. What are you gonna do? He might write a strongly worded letter to the branch and be like, this is ridiculous. That was essentially my time outdoors today. And I do want to say, everybody's clapping for the essential workers. And I mean, I have been clapping for the essential workers as well. However, what I thought I was clapping for is the bravery of, you know, these people doing their jobs, they're keeping society going during the pandemic. The next time I clap, it's gonna be, like, the whole time I'm clapping, I'm gonna be remembering the fact that they also have to deal with these sort of people every single day. Don't get me wrong, like, almost everybody that came through the security screening was just like, no, 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 thank you. But even like a couple of people an hour being like, you believe in this stuff? You're like, come on, man. I'm just trying to keep the bank safe. Is that what we're gonna do today? Do we have to fight? This isn't what I signed up for. Yo, we got Greed's Gullet popping too. This is a great start here. So big ups to the essential workers out there. Not only, you know, keeping the wheels of commerce and society turning, which is much appreciated, but also I'm sure, like, if you're if you work checkout at a grocery store right now, probably like 8 times a day you got to deal with people being like, "Wow, can you believe this? This is crazy. What do you think about this? This is insane. I mean, you guys don't even have the craft kombucha anymore. What the heck happened? Where's the craft kombucha?" I mean, I understand we got to be cautious and all that. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's important to be cautious, but at the same time, at what cost? The disease is not as bad as the cure if I can't even get my craft kombucha. Anyway, that's my little dose of a little misanthropic musing to start your Monday off with here. I don't know if it's Monday for you, but it's Monday for me. That's about it. I'm just so excited to finally have an anecdote. I had to get it out there. I was like, I gotta go home and record Isaac. Everything else pretty normal. Today is the day, and this will date the backlog greatly, but the streak loss finally came out today for the previous streak. So now everybody, for the time being, we're on the same page. It's always... I mean, I'm not too worried about spoilers. I don't try to deliberately spoil my content too often, but, like, yeah, I didn't even see the Tinted Rock there. I don't try to deliberately spoil my content too often, but, you know, you got, like, a little secret here, and everybody's like, he don't lose on quarantine, and you're like, about that. Keep watching. However, he only loses once on quarantine. I don't know if we want that. You know what? Our stats are good enough. It's way too early in the run to be like, I'm not gonna bother getting a regular chest. That's a snobbish attitude. It's unnecessary. It's unbecoming of us. Insubordinate and churlish. Apart from that, everything's you know, it's pretty normal over here. Beautiful, beautiful day outside. And a lot of Call of Duty Warzone. That's, well, when I say a lot, I mean a lot by adult standards. Like, when I used to play video game, if I said I played a lot of a video game when I was, you know, 16, I was literally playing that, like, minimum 7 hours Saturday, 7 hours Sunday. There's a unique sort of situation as a child, right? I gotta be honest as well, by the way. I don't know if this works the same now. If you're like 16, 17 now, you might not believe me. There's ways in which you're unlucky, I'm sure. But there, you know, within specifically the realm of gaming, you're very lucky, and let me explain why. As a child, I did not have access, well, as a teenager, let's say, I did not have access to free-to-play games, which meant if I bought a game for like 60 bucks, which now has the purchasing power of like $500 US, but if I bought a game for 60 bucks, and I got bored of it, too bad. I'm playing that game. I'm grinding it into ash. It's becoming dirt. Like, these are not bad games for the record, but on the original Xbox, I bought Project Gotham Racing 2. There were times when I got bored with that game, even though the game itself is maybe my favorite racing game of all time, although Forza Horizon 4 is also incredible. There were times when I got a little bored with it. So what? You know what you do when you get bored with that game? You keep playing it. I beat the whole game on silver. Unlocked the Porsche 911. I beat the whole game on gold. Unlocked the Mercedes CLK GTR or whatever the heck it's called. AMG CLK. Look, I don't know cars that much. Then you're not gonna believe me. Beat the whole game on platinum. Did not get a Game Shark or an action replay in order to unlock the TVR Cerbera Speed 12. I beat that, like, me and Jack Black are the only two people on planet Earth that beat that game on platinum to unlock that car. Now, the Cerbera didn't handle that well, but the power output was insane. So, you know, if you met someone online that had that Cerbera, you were like, I'm about to get beat. Because they got the skills to get it. Or they bought an action replay. If they have an action replay just to unlock that, the odds are they're going to be sliding all over the Nürburgring. But anyway, nowadays, I feel like... And I'm not complaining. Like, I got no complaints about my teenage years, really. Because while I was in my teenage years, I was like, man, when my parents were in their teenage years, all they had was friggin' Pong, you know? So I was like, this is amazing. I'm driving like a real car or whatever. Well, those cars are more real in the video game to me than they are in real life, because I don't think I'm ever going to own a Koenigsegg CCR, but regardless, maybe a Pagani Zonda. I always thought what would it be like to own my own Batmobile. This is just a supercar focus bit for those of you who are interested, apparently. Regardless, you played that game until you got, you know, you got bored, you went through waves. What'd you do last night? I don't know, it was okay. I had 6 hours of leisure time, but it wasn't novel enough to really tickle my dopamine receptors. Nowadays, you know, you play a couple games of League. I'm frustrated with League. Okay, let's play some Valorant. Oh, I'm frustrated with Valorant. Okay, let's play some Warzone instead. Oh, I'm frustrated with Warzone. Okay, oh, let's play some Hearthstone. Okay, I'm playing Hearthstone. Like, there's an endless amount of free-to-play stuff. Now, you got a lot of variety. You can pivot quickly. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people are gonna frame it as a negative. I don't see the rise of popular free-to-play games as a negative, honestly. Well, okay, let me rephrase. That's coming from a slight position. I don't know, I don't necessarily want to call it of privilege, because it's a very loaded word. But I have, like, no struggles with, like, FOMO or gambling addiction. I don't have, like, FOMO. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get it. I don't have FOMO. I have phobia. Instead of the fear of missing out, it's the fear of being included. So when people plan something, they're like, you know, hey, I got you a spot at the head table. And I'm like, oh, God, this is what I was afraid of. I was hoping to sit 7 tables deep so that I could escape without anybody noticing that I left. So my phobia means that I really don't get compelled to spend money in free-to-play games. Like, there's been, like, a very, very small amount of exceptions. I did buy some Counter-Strike Global Offensive keys in, like, 2012 and 2013. There's a statute of limitations on that stuff. You know, it's been 7 years. If you declare bankruptcy after 7 years, like, the bankruptcy is expunged from your record. So I would say, you know, like, the $100 to $200 I spent on Counter-Strike keys has also been expunged. And for NHL 19? Yeah, 19. I did buy the Super Bonus Edition, which was an extra $40 and came with some, you know, Ultimate Team additions and also some packs. So that's like the only exception to the rule there. And they are admittedly exceptions. I'm not going to try to, like, you know, reverse engineer how they don't count. But, you know, when people are like, oh, I got to get the Travis Scott skin in Fortnite, I'm like, I am happy to just play for free, honestly. So if you do have a certain element of, like, you know, a gambling addictive personality, then I think that there's some games are different. You know, I think some games are a little bit exploitative for sure. But for me, I'm like, dude, if this had existed when I was 16, I would have been over them. I probably would have dropped out of college. Maybe it's a good thing they didn't exist. You know what game sucked up the most amount of... Well, I played a lot of Rock Band and Guitar Hero. But you know what single-player game sucked up the most amount of my time in college? Civilization 4. Which is, don't get me wrong, a fantastic game. But looking back, it is kind of humorous, right? I probably, on average, I bet I got like 5% less in each class that semester where I discovered Civ 4. I would not recommend it. Wasn't quite at a World of Warcraft level. I know everybody's got, like, WoW horror stories. I feel very blessed. For whatever reason, never got into WoW. You ever think about that? Like, what if I had some friends in high school that were into WoW? What if I got broadband internet the year World of Warcraft came out? I was bored on summer vacation, had Ethernet, and I was like, you know, this WoW game seems like it could make me forget about my troubles. What if one of my friends was like, let's play WoW, instead of being like, let's play Rainbow Six 3? So it's crazy to think about how these sliding doors sort of situations could have changed my life. For the... I mean, I'm not going to say it's for the worst necessarily. A lot of people, at least in the business that I'm in, a lot of people owe their careers to WoW. To some extent. Or they you know, WoW has helped them in their careers at least. But, yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about, basically. It's just such a weird feeling to be like I almost, and I think this is just adult guilt. I don't think it's, you know, someone's gonna reply to this and be like, that's capitalism for you. I don't really see it like that. I just see it as like this level of adulthood, where on Saturday, I probably played 4 hours of Call of Duty Warzone, and now we're like 2 days later, and I'm still like, I feel just the teeniest, tiniest pang of guilt. Not enough to be like, I gotta change my life, but enough to be like, man, I could have freaking, you know, rebalanced my portfolio. That's just a hypothetical. Don't watch so much TV. No deal? Are you insane? Just the teeniest, tiniest. It's phobia. It's the fear of being included. I like that. I think that could work as a Curb Your Enthusiasm style bit. I don't have FOMO. I've got phobia. The fear of being invited. Don't take that one, Larry. That one's for me. That's season 1 of Curb Your Enthusiasm coming right up. Poke Go. Not that interested. Mama Mega. Not that interested. I mean, don't get me wrong. The black hole is not like the be-all, end-all. I think we do not take chaos just because we're guaranteed to deal with the devil next floor. I think taking chaos is actually the wrong play. And if you're mad that I'm not taking chaos, well, first off, I doubt anybody's mad. If you're mildly annoyed, I'm not taking chaos. I understand you, but I am also, like, simultaneously, you should be happy, to be quite frank, because I'm actually thinking with my noggin instead of just going on autopilot. So yes, by the way, we could have had not blank card. We could have had chaos and restock, and then maybe bought a bunch of stuff. I'm not going to deny that that could have worked out for us. But we did get Tarot Cloth. Well, that was a floor ago. We got There's Options, Fanny Pack, Restock, Humbling Bundle. That's also a really, really good haul. And Blue Candle. I forgot about Blue Candle. I do think we take it. That hurts. I mean, our range, I think it's because of our shot speed mostly. Our range is pretty good. But I really thought we'd at least move from 6 to 4. 6 to 5 is like, you know, I don't even get out of bed for that. Mind you, again, the range downgrade that we got didn't really seem to affect us, like, at all, so. Okay, good, great dodge. I tried to pick my shot. Would not recommend. So that's pretty much what's going on. Just low-key, hanging out, downtown by myself. Not really, because, you know, can't go downtown because I got too much, or I got too little vaccine, and I've been avoiding touching my face, and there he was. You know this? This is Blank and Candy by Marcy Playground, also as covered by Maroon 5. But themed to be around the pandemic instead. That's demonetized. YouTube is like, very clever. Gotta hit you with the demonetize on that one. Moving on. Run Necropolis 1. This feels like it's too strong of a run to be going this slow. And that's always dangerous, you know? It's a very simple calculus. When you feel like you should be going faster than you're going, that's where you start making terrible mistakes. You know, you start to play a little too hasty. You start to feel entitled. Where's my damage upgrade? Where's my good deal with the devil? You know, this is an impression of myself, essentially, that I'm doing here. I really think, philosophically, one of the best things I could do for myself... Okay, hello, Chaos, hi, oi. I really think... We'll talk about this. But philosophically, one of the best things I could do for myself to improve my Isaac consistency is just to never be like... Never feel like a run has an internal timer anymore. Because that's, I think, especially if I get an orbital and low damage, my brain is just like, well, I got a whole workday ahead of me. I got to knock some of this stuff out. And I just take some reckless damage that leads to despair. And instead, if I just focused a little bit more and paid a little bit better attention and did everything right, whether it takes 38 minutes or 24 minutes or 50 minutes, etc., etc. Rarely, I mean, if an Isaac run goes longer than 50 minutes, that's when I'm gonna let the game have it. That one's legitimately, that's a long one. But still. Just stop having, you know, a timeline attached to it. Instead of being like, I gotta be at the chest by, you know, 29 minutes, just be like, I'll be there when I be there. Like Kanye West in the song Late, a bonus track off of Late Registration. Yeah, I'll be there in 5 minutes. 5 hours later, I'll be there in 5 minutes. I don't like that though. I don't live my life according to that standard. I don't admire lateness. Well, it's not even, if you're a late person, I know I've done late person, early person bits a lot. I'm gonna tell you something that's gonna be perhaps a tough pill to swallow for some of you. If you're a late person wondering why early people get frustrated, it is not as much always about the fact that you're late. Some of the time, it's about the fact that you, like, lie about it in such an obvious way as to be, like, a little insulting. And this doesn't apply to all late people. However, some late people, yo, let's go. They'll be like, let's meet at 9. Okay. Let's do this now. Now that we've gotten our deal, let's do this. Especially because we got a guppy item. They'll be like, let's meet at 9. The early person will be at the place of meeting. I don't think we want that yet. We want to really fish hard for a guppy item if possible. The early person... Let's go. Let's freaking go, dude. The early person will be at the venue at like 8:50. At the latest. And they'll be sweating it the whole time. What if it takes me 10 minutes to get in through the front? You know? Never happens. There we go. That's very nice as well. Mom's contact is too, but I'd rather fish for this guppy item, dude. It did not work. But that's okay. I think we'll save our money for the next floor. And blue candle's good. Blue candle's good. But, so they'll be there at like 8:50. And then the late person at like 9:10 will text you like, I'm almost there. 5 minutes out. And then if you could look at like the location of their phone, 90% of the time, it would still be inside of their house. They're like, that's the thing that is the most egregious about a late person, early person dynamic, is just the deception. Not always, again, and not every late person's in the same boat, but I definitely, I don't know, you might be watching. I had a friend in university who was very much like that, you know? And the only reason I found out that he was like that is because one time I was hanging out with him when he was supposed to be at something else, and he hadn't even gotten ready for the thing, and someone from that event texted him and was like, you know, hey, you know, the thing started 10 minutes ago, when are you going to be here? And he's like, oh, I'm on my way. I'm like, you're not on your way, you liar. We're playing Smash Bros right now. You can just do that. You can just text people, I'm on my... You're going to show up 45 minutes late to something that's 2 minutes away from your house and be like, yeah, sorry, there was traffic. It just doesn't make any sense. It's that part is disrespectful. I am late for stuff on occasion. I try not to be, but it does happen. Whenever it happens, I just text the person, like the point of contact, and I go, hey, listen. I'm gonna be late. I'm probably gonna be like, you know, I try to give a reasonable approximation. I don't just go, hey, you know, they want to hear that I'm gonna be there soon, so I'm gonna say I'm gonna be there soon. I'm gonna be like, you know, I'm gonna level with you. I was a little late getting out of the house today. Probably I'm gonna be like 15. This is not a good start there. Or was it? Probably I'm gonna be about 15 minutes late. I apologize. And they always go, yeah, no problem. Take your time. That's the early person respect. I'm preparing a lot of anecdotes here. Specifically because of the fact I feel like this is going to be a long episode. It doesn't have to be, for the record. All we need is, like, you know, one guppy item. Or, you know, Cricket's head don't hurt either. But it is a little, or at least up until this room, was a little slower than I had expected given the caliber of item we'd received as well. But yeah, the I'll be there in 5 minutes text when, you know, they haven't even... Like, for me to text somebody, first off, it would require me to leave the house, which is, you know, not acceptable right now. But I would only say, like, I'll be there in 5 minutes if I was outside of their door. Because I'd be like, what if I tripped and fell on an errant pebble and re-aggravated my meniscus issue? You never know, dude. It could take me 5 minutes to move, you know, 25 meters. Some people, though, they'll hit you with the... Like, 5 minutes has no meaning to them. They're like, yeah, I'll be there in 5 minutes. I'm like, really? Because the event's in Seattle, and you're in Vancouver right now. 5 minutes? Don't give me... I'm not saying it's literally impossible. I'm saying it's physically implausible because it would require you to, you know, basically be inside of a Concorde jet right now. Anyway, this is a weird bit because, like, nobody's really late for, like, anything right now, but you get the idea. Remember when we used to have, like, appointments and stuff? Can I tell you something weird about this pandemic? It's got me wondering how, like, what percentage of times that I got sick in my life prior to this moment were actually completely preventable if everybody just washed their hands and I didn't touch my face so much. Because you know, I've never been a non-face toucher until this. No one else is going to admit it. I'll just tell you with the honest-to-goodness truth. For the most part, I was like, you know, I clean my hands. What's the big deal? Now I'm like, okay, let's not do that. Now I get it. Now I get that that's a, you know, it's a no-no. I knew it was a no-no before, but, like, it's substantially more of a no-no now. There's been, like, real consequences for it, is what I'm trying to say. But I've been thinking more recently about, like... I'm really fishing, by the way, for this. I've been thinking, like, what percentage of times that I've been sick prior to this in my life? I guess, like, in any sense, like, passing on, like, a virus or an infectious disease is always preventable to some extent because it requires exposure to the virus. But I'm like, if I took the same precautions outside of COVID that I took, or that I'm taking, I should say, during this situation... I wonder if I would get sick, like, way less often. And I'm all level with you. I have, like, since I started working out and eating a lot better and taking better care of myself and getting better sleep and not being so stressed out, it really did make a difference. Like, at least it's a pretty small sample size, but, you know, like in 2017, 2018, I probably got sick like 3 to 4 times a year. Since January 1st, 2019, I've been, you know, what I would describe as sick once. I'm sure I've battled, like, some minor... infections, but, like, requiring time off for, like, you know, genuinely fever, sore throat, stuff like that. I've only been sick once. It was in July of 2019. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, there are some idiots out there who are like, yeah, if you just, like, work out and eat right, you'll never get sick. That's perhaps, like, the most foolish anti-germ theory nonsense I've ever heard, but it strengthens your immune system, right? But I also am like, if I combine that... Let me put it this way. I just wish that there was some way to determine how you got, like, the exact transmission method you got it from. So I could figure out what percentage were, like, me and what percentage were, like, there's nothing I could do. Like, if you're on a packed train and the person behind you, like, sneezes into your ear, what are you gonna do? You know? You can yell at them. That's not gonna cure you, right? But, like, what percentage were, like, yeah, you touched a door frame... that you shouldn't, like, you were holding onto a railing you didn't have to hold on to at 10:30 a.m. and then you didn't wash your hands until 3 p.m. because you didn't go to the bathroom and you touched your face 1,400 times during that period. I wonder what kind of percentages we'd see. Because on average, like, I always, you know, budgeted, like, you know, I'm gonna get sick 1 to 2 times a year. That seems like probably like the average. And it varies depending on the severity of flu season. But I'm like, man, if everybody keeps washing their hands. Like, I hate to keep beating this drum, because I forgot I had blank card with Algis here. But I'm like, I'll tell you, as a man who has been to public bathrooms his whole life, I'm telling you, at best, 50% of men wash their hands when they go to a public bathroom. Which means, like, probably 80%. Or not washing them at home to begin with, and then going outside and touching stuff regardless. And you're not gonna believe me. You're gonna be like, it's one of those things where it's like, well, the ads are based on your search history. You see what you want to see. No, I'm telling you sincerely. Old men, young men. If anything, I will say, to placate my younger audience, the younger generation definitely way better about washing their hands. If you ever see like a 65-year-old at the movie theater, or like a sports game. They're all up in their stuff. They're picking their nose. They're picking their ear. They're touching their whatever when they go to the bathroom, obviously. And then they go up to the sink and they splash like one single molecule of water on their hands. And then they just flick them. Don't even use a paper towel, and then just walk out. Put their finger in someone's mouth and be like, pranked you. Not everybody. But like, I know anecdote, does not equal data, but that's my experience. I wonder how many less times I would be sick. Or anyone would be sick, for that matter. People just started washing their hands. So that's what I'm kind of hoping, that, like, I do think, obviously, like, things are going to relax eventually, assuming we get over it. But, I think, people are not going to keep washing their hands 12 times a day. It's just not gonna happen. People are not gonna, they're gonna be like, eventually, people are gonna be like, I don't want to wear this mask anymore. It's, annoying. My glasses fog up. And then things will backslide a little bit back down to normal, but I almost wonder if there isn't like a little long-term public health uptick as a result of this, Please don't take this out of context as being like, well, the pandemic sucks, but there are some positives. The juice ain't worth the squeeze. But we're in the squeeze. We might as well drink some of the juice. That's what I'm trying to say. Just wash your dang hands. That's all I'm trying to say. Everybody, the hand washing justification, I'm glad to see that the nonsense arguments have fallen apart. Because it used to be like, well, I could wash my hands. But on the other hand, did you see this study that like your toothbrush has more fecal bacteria on it than... the handles of the sink or blah, blah, blah. Okay. I'm not, to be honest, yeah, I don't really want to shake your hands if your hands have poop on them. That is part of it. But, like, another part of it is just, like, washing off the infectious disease particles you get in your hand on a daily basis. It's not your fault, necessarily. But it is if you don't, anyway, we don't need to go down this road. Just don't watch so much TV, sweetheart. We can already fly. I'm just waiting on we got a 100% chance of a deal. I am just waiting on the dream in this one, which is a guppy item. Now, you don't really want... Well, let me rephrase. I do see a tinted rock back there. You don't really expect a guppy item in the deal with the devil. But it can happen with chaos even enabled. It can still happen. This run has essentially 0% chance to fail. It will not fail. You don't need me to tell you that, I'm sure. I mean, you're like, yeah, your rate of fire is great, your damage is great, your HP is great. Yeah, okay, you know what? That's true. Really, what I would love to see, actually, is a deal with the devil that gives us literally any orbital would be dynamite right now. Now, I say literally any orbital because we already have the worst orbital in the game. So any other orbital would do way more damage. Like, Sack Dagger's obviously, king of the castle, but... we're pretty much coasting here. And I don't know if anybody else has, like, recontextualized, like, your whole life pre-virus. But I'm like, man, we were sitting in movie theaters, airplanes, like, shoulders touching strangers who were like, no one's washing their dang hands. And by nobody, I mean, like, 50% of the population at most washes their hands like more than 3 times a day, apparently. Everybody's touching their face. They're picking their nose in the car when their, significant other's not looking. It's, and the fact that we only got sick like once or twice a year, I'll take it, is like kind of unfathomable to me. I'm like, man, we were really crushing it. Nowadays, they're like in the post-COVID world, the people are like, well, we gotta take out every other seat in the movie theater. We gotta move restaurant tables like further apart and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, I mean, maybe following this, we'll get sick a lot less often. People are going to start actually paying attention to their personal hygiene. Maybe not, though. I don't know. That's probably wishful thinking. We'll see if they still run PAX. Don't get me wrong. I feel for the Reed Pop organization. I enjoy PAX. I've been to PAX. I've been to every PAX West since 2012, and a couple of PAX Easts in there as well. And I was just stunned, but also sympathetic when they tweeted like, hey, there's been a lot of scuttlebutt about whether or not we're going to run PAX this year. Our plan right now is to run PAX. And I'm like, yo, don't tweet that yet. It is in August, so it's like, it's still a decent way away. But at the same time, like, I know you got to sell tickets and you got infrastructural stuff, but like the PR is not going to be on your side for this one. I got a lot of sympathy. I mean, here's the thing. You know, if you live in a simple world, you go, hey, don't run PAX this year. But the reality of running the business is that, you know, if you are in the events business and you're not running events, you don't have a business. And I don't really mean that to say like, well, oh, you're not making money and that's unacceptable. I mean it more like, literally your business is going to collapse. You know, dozens, if not hundreds of people are going to be out of a job, including seasonal workers that work at this stuff, you know, now and then when it comes around to their neck of the woods. So, like, I get why you'd want to be like, I want to keep this stuff going. It's probably not as simple as just being like, don't run it, or at least don't talk about running it yet. But at the same time, it's like, dude, I genuinely, especially the fact, like, even if this was not a situation where Kate was pregnant, and she would be, like, literally 37 weeks pregnant when PAX happens or something like that, out of 40 for anybody who's not familiar. But 40 expected at least. But even if it had not been a year like that or timing like that, I would rethink going to an event with, like, you know, 30 to 40,000 people touching the same surfaces as everybody else. I've seen those PAX bathrooms. Yo, there's our guppy place. I would be skeptical about going to it in the first place, but then also being like, you know, in the middle of this event, I'm like, and the timing and yeah, you know, it's a little spooky. Let's put it that way. Okay, Black Lotus bomb bag. I really just think this is a situation where we do not care about 9 lives at all. We definitely care about algaes and the sun. Are we going the right way? Yes. Yo, this run, I mean, it didn't have to come together because it was already, like, in a pretty amazing spot, but it definitely did come together. This is a good start to my day, honestly. First run of the, well, it was a terrible start to my day because I had to listen to that guy berate the poor, you know, front desk staff at the bank. Hey, you probably set this policy personally, right? Well, me, with my University of Twitter bachelor's degree, I think it's stupid. What am I kidding myself? That guy's not on Twitter. That's a University of Facebook bachelor's degree. I didn't even say masters, okay? That's how much I'm disrespecting him. Oh, don't watch so much. What do you mean don't watch so much? You don't watch so much TV. Weirdo. I should have stood up for her. I will not do it again in the future. I'll just level with you. It's not. Next time it happens, I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to give my wife the look of like, wow, get a load of this guy. And then I'm going to talk about it in Isaac. It's education and public outreach, sweetheart. Look it up. Anyway, hey, 14 wins in a row? 13 wins in a row? 14 wins in a row. Hey, thanks for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. Helps us a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. If you liked the episode, click the like button. I'm going to assume you liked it. You're here 39 minutes and 16 seconds into it. Click the like button. It's the best way to support the channel. It's free. It sends a message to YouTube. This guy's great. Show his content to more people. It sends a message to me. This content is great. Make more of it. I'd be happy to do so. So if you enjoyed the episode, please do click the like button. That's all I ask. Additional things, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll be in the comments soaking up dopamine. For now, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya!